All right, we should be up and running. Both streams should be live now. Should be able to hear me and see charts. All right, market's been closed for a couple minutes now, so we'll see what the closing numbers are and then go over today's trades, but only really one symbol. Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for December 22nd, 2021. SPY up 1%, Q's up 1.2, and IWM just about 1%. So coming into today, I wanted to see some pushback from the sellers. Okay. I thought if we gap up, we might come right back in which case that would be our line in the sand. If we gap down, then we'll use yesterday's high. We didn't gap at all. Instead, we just kind of moved right up and then kind of kept on moving up. So really, even though kind of we've moved up, we've cemented really that we can't be bearish anymore, it doesn't really make the picture any clearer, right? If anything, it just says, okay, we recovered really nicely, but we're still at the same spot that we were yesterday, which is into this sloppy congestion area, back into the area that we kind of were prior to the FOMC decision or the FOMC announcement. And so still lots of congestion here. And especially with the hourly looking like this is not really where we want to be starting a long position anyway. So it's hard to say, okay, yes, I'm bullish now on the Qs and SPY after having made a move like this. Is not the place that you want to be starting a new position long. Okay, so no longer bearish. I would like to see a little bit more from just some kind of two-way action, because it's really been a pretty continuous move. We've had a couple attempts here, just a little semblance of selling here and here, which is fine, which is definitely why we can't be bearish anymore, even though we've rallied back up to resistance and we're a little bit extended. Okay, so are we going to get a pullback? Are we going to settle in for another day or so and then break out? I think all those scenarios are fine, and those are the scenarios I would say let's be bullish. Okay, but just for tomorrow, I'm going to be neutral. Okay, so I'm in a little bit more wait and see mode than I'd like to be, just because I don't want to be starting the bullish bias up here. And then it was really, as much as it would have been nice, it would be a complete kind of only in hindsight for me to think, okay, yeah, that was an easy call to say, let's go long there at the bottom. And then not also, get out after a sell-off like that, right? Because if you played it here at the bottom, you'd watch this thing go back to break even. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is this last week really or so, I was gonna say a few days, but last week or so, and the Qs and SPY has been pretty choppy, pretty back and forth. Okay, so we've gotten some, pretty bearish sell-offs and then a pretty bullish rally. So if you look at the daily chart here, it's pretty ugly. Okay, you can see the size of these bars, the lack of follow-through. And so, we have two green bars here, two decently sized green bars here. That was not really, hasn't happened at all in the past month. And so you compare kind of what this looks like, right, with some of the other, trending periods we've had, like for months here on the Qs. And then you look at the difference with this wide range, no follow-through type of bars. Okay, so Qs and SPY leaning a little bit more bullish. Let's just call it neutral though. Going into tomorrow, I need to see a little bit more, and then if we get a base break like on Monday, or a pullback, then we will be bullish. But just need to see a little bit more. What would it take for us to be bearish? We would really have to take out kind of this pivot here on the hourly, try to bounce, and then we would have to fail on that bounce. Okay, so just basically in this recent uptrend, and then we can start to look for any kind of next entry as a bearish move. Okay, so it's kind of a wait and see here for tomorrow. All right, let's go over the two plays on the ACST. Now, the ACST, I like this gap a lot. All right, it's been in a downtrend and then gapping above the 20 MA here after basing a little bit. Okay, so I do like that quite a bit. To play long reminds me of the SPRB from last Friday. Okay. All right, so then we did 2 plays on it. Okay, so the first play I'll show you was right on the 2-minute buy setup. We did a 2-minute buy setup here, right here. Now I don't mind that this is not at the rising 20 because this is 10-15 minutes after the open, and the 20 MA hasn't really gotten a chance, especially on the 2 here, to catch up, right? So this extension is really just a result of the gap. Okay, so we play this 2-minute buy setup. Okay. All right, so, it got the nice move initially. I think it was up about an R, but was looking definitely for more. Now, what I didn't like after that happened was that it tried to do this 5-minute buy setup and failed. Okay, so I didn't like that. We were up an R, and now we'd come back in to break even. Okay, and it was starting to go negative. There it is. Now it's starting to come in. So I knew that it was a tough call, what to do, how to manage this. We can leave the stop down here at 32, or I can raise the stop and then be ready to replay. And the reason I'm ready to replay is because I really like this gap. Okay, we saw it go, this SPRB go crazy on Friday, and that one I played in the morning. That one didn't work. Actually, that one stopped, and then I had to, the only way to get back in it was play in the afternoon, which I didn't. Okay, so I kind of knew that, all right, if it doesn't work in the morning, we still might have to play it in the afternoon. Okay, so I got out of it. Okay, I think under 36. So trailed right there. Okay, trailed right there. So after a trail, I said, okay, fine, we're out of it. We lost partial, like 2/3 of an R, got to look to replay. Eventually, okay, turned into this base right here. Okay, so that, and then recalled it over that. Okay, so I think that's what triggered. All right, so we had to replay. Now, it never stopped. Okay, so that part I kind of knew at the time doing it, this might be a mistake. It did turn out to be a mistake. Our original stop was at 32. This only went to 34, so we would have still been in it. Okay, but at least we replayed. Okay. All right, so targets. Targets, I wanted to see it above 160. Was looking for something closer to 170. We did have to live through this little bit of a pullback here. Okay. I wasn't too happy about it, of course, because this actually was target from our, if we had stayed it with the first play. So if you were in the room today, because I was on the mic. I wasn't too thrilled about having to live through this pullback, but I felt like it was the right thing to do. Good. Okay. Then it popped over lunch. Said, okay, let's go ahead and trail some. Took half, 1 minute bar by bar. Made another new high, trailed another quarter, and then it was looking pretty climactic here. So the whole thing, 5-minute bar by bar on the remaining. Okay. So yeah, that like more than made up. I think it almost like tripled what we lost from the original play. But I can't help but feel like, you know what? This really shouldn't have had to have been replayed. If anything, this could have been an ad on this ACST, because I feel like I know better, And that's something I talked about even earlier in the week. I said that, we sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge because, we do so much analysis of the details prior to when we get in the trade. And that's necessary. That's important. We go through the gaps before they set up. We go through the multiple time frames before the open. We go over the gaps, and then, as soon as it opens, we're going through the multiple time frames. We do a lot of focus on the details. But then once you're in, you let the management do the rest of the work, okay? For the most part. That's generally my approach, and I'm better off doing that because, look, I think this, if we had stuck with the original play, it would have made 4 Rs, okay? I wouldn't have walked away with all 4 Rs. Let's say I even walked away with just 2 Rs, okay? What did I save, or what did I save by getting out early? 1/3 of an R. Okay. So I'm going to have 6 plays where I save 1/3 of an R in order to make up for the mistake. Let's say I didn't replay it. Okay. And this thing, if I had stuck with it, I would have made 2 Rs, right? And I saved a third of an R. So you can see how just one of these plays, even if you're right about getting out early, most of the time, it's when these plays go like this that you're like, yeah, okay, at the end of the month, and these are the ones that's the reason that you are still negative based on the times that you broke your plan, right? If you kind of net out, here are the times that I broke my plan and saved money, and this is how much I saved. Here's the times where I broke my plan and would have benefited more or lost money due to it. If you net those out, typically you're going to see you're leaving money on the table. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, it's because the most that you can save when you get out early is an R. That's the most that you can save. The most that you can miss out on, if it's a long, is technically infinite. Okay, so the more that you do this kind of stuff, like I did today, where you think, oh, I'm so smart, this is a 5-minute buy setup failure, that's not a good sign, I better get out early. The more often that you do that, if you know what you're doing, if your trades, if you're going after good trades, this will eventually come back to bite you. Okay. Now, if you say, well, my plays are usually going to fail, and even the ones that work don't even work for that much, well, you have a much bigger issue than your management. That means whatever you're trading, whatever strategy you're trading is not a good strategy. It means it usually doesn't work, and it usually, when it does work, doesn't go very far. That means you have a bigger problem. And the management, in fact, is only keeping you from losing more than you would be using a broken strategy, okay, or a flawed strategy, all right? So if you're taking good plays, you're trading good plays, it's easy for this sloppiness to kind of affect you, especially once you're in the play. And it's counterintuitive, right, what I'm talking about, to say, all right, do all the analysis, do all the due diligence before you get in, and then once you're in the play, try to just stick to the management. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to overanalyze. It's counterintuitive to say, once you have money on the line, care about it less, or try to react less, right? But it is, in fact, kind of what we need to do. It's just one aspect of trading among many that's pretty counterintuitive, right? And a little bit unnatural. Okay. So anyway, I just want to go over that because clearly, I made a mistake. I'm glad we replayed it. I'm glad the replay worked and more than made up for the, getting out early. But that's just, it's, still feel a little bit annoyed because it's a lesson that I know. It's not like I need to relearn this lesson, but, it's just, if you know what you're doing, you're taking good plays with good reward potential, with good odds, try not to mess with them too much. Okay. All right, guys. Hope you had a nice day today. Hope you're having a nice week. I know things are a little bit slower, than your average off season or out of earning season period, but just focus on good quality stuff. If it's not there, you can take off early, whatever. All right, but yeah, just try not to overtrade. Okay. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.